New Center Maine presents Agree to Disagree with Phil Harriman and Ethan Strimling, an ongoing podcast on Maine politics. Phil, a Republican, and Ethan, a Democrat, are two of Maine's most well-known and respected political analysts. Every week and sometimes daily, get new episodes discussing all things political and how it affects Mainers like you. And now, here's Phil and Ethan.
Welcome to episode 18 of the Agree to Disagree podcast on New Center Maine with Phil and Ethan. This week we are doing a special Election Day predictions edition of Agree to Disagree. Phil, what do you think? Here it is, 4 days away.
I cannot wait. I think the public is just exhausted by all of this campaign rhetoric that has flooded into our state.
I thought you were going to say the public just can't wait for our predictions. Every year, it's like this is the moment that everybody's waiting for, is what will Phil and Ethan say about who's going to win? I mean, they don't really listen to what you're going to say about who's going to win because I always get it right. But, you know, they like to at least hear the back and forth.
I think you have illusions of grandeur if you think people get up in the morning and grab an orange juice and want to know what Phil and Ethan think. But let's play along with your self-importance here.
I thought you were going to say illusions of grandeur about thinking that I was going to win all the predictions.
Yeah, well, that is self-evident.
Yes, that is. All right, so this week, what do we got?
Well,
go ahead, dive in. What are we going to predict this week, buddy?
You got to predict whether Donald Trump will win re-election or whether Joe Biden will win the 2nd congressional district. You got to be eager to talk about Sara Gideon, whether she'll unseat Susan Collins. Mm-hmm. What do you got?
Let's see. After that, we got, how much is Dale Crafts going to lose by? How much is Jay Allen going to lose by? Let's just cut to the chase on those. No need to pretend like, what something different's going to happen. U.S. Senate, is it going to be in Republican hands or not in Republican hands? I think that actually is a real toss-up kind of race. We'll talk a little bit about the state legislature. Will Democrats expand to their majority or not? And then we got a couple surprises in there for folks that will drop in as they
Plus, we have to score last week's hot seat in which you and I went head-to-head for the first time.
I know, that was kind of fun, huh?
Yeah,
we did okay as far as I can tell. So, all right, are you ready to do our special edition of Nailed It or Failed It?
Let's let the speaker call us to order.
As Speaker of the House, I solemnly and sadly open the debate.
All right, Phil, here we go. This is our special election edition of Nailed It or Failed It. In honor of our favorite day of the year, we're doing an expanded version in which we are going to make 10 election day predictions for each of us head to head. I can't wait to beat you on these.
You see, the difference between you and me is that you lead with your emotions too much, and I lead with my analytical and instincts and emotional intelligence. That's why I always beat you on election day predictions.
Yeah, in your dreams, buddy, in your dreams. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Schoolsy, you there?
What's going on, boys?
Hey, my friend, how are you?
Our extraordinary producer.
Look at you, all dressed up today and everything, huh? You
Come
look
on.
good.
I had to actually wear pants. I'm in the building now.
All right, so what we're going to do this week is we thought we're going to have 10 predictions, and we thought, Schoolsy, you would read each prediction. So you will say something like, Democrats will clearly win it all on Tuesday, and then Phil will have to say, I agree, and then we explain why it is that's going to happen. Does that work for you, Phil?
It does. Everything except the part about my agreeing. Okay, let's get rolling. Our producer extraordinaire, Schoolsy, can we get a drum roll, please? There are 10 predictions for Election Day 2020 from Sir Philip and Mayor Strim.
You got a drum roll, Schoolsy?
I don't have a drum roll.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't have a drum roll.
All right.
We'll gavel after. All right. Agree or disagree, fellas? Donald Trump will win re-election.
Agree. I think he's going to pull out, as he did in 2016, the votes that he needs in those key states, which is why he's spending so much time in Florida, Pennsylvania, et cetera.
I disagree. I think he is going to lose by over 100 electoral votes. He's going to lose by 5 to 7 points in the popular vote. He's spending time in places like Maine where it's clear it's not going to make a difference. So he's not. It's going to be a rough night for Donald Trump.
All right. Question number 2, agree or disagree? Joe Biden will win CD2.
I'm gonna agree with this one. This one will be tight. So I'm a little. Obviously, Donald Trump won this by 10 points last time. That's absolutely not going to happen again, which is kind of why I don't think he's going to take it all. But I actually think in the end, Biden will squeak this one out by a couple of points.
I disagree. I've spent a fair amount of time up in the 2nd Congressional District going back as far as May. The passion for Trump's reelection has never been stronger or clearer. I think he does win the 2nd Congressional District and Joe Biden loses it.
Didn't you, before you do it, didn't you see up in the north, you saw like a Troy Jackson and Donald Trump sign on the same lawn or something?
Yes.
Yeah, I wish you'd taken a picture of that one.
I
I'd send it to Troy.
I should have.
All right. Question number 3, agree or disagree? Sara Gideon will unseat Senator Susan Collins.
I disagree. I think in the end, people are going to see that the tremendous amount of money that was flooded into our state to buy our U.S. Senate seat is not going to prevail, and Susan Collins narrowly by maybe 0.5% will remain our U.S. Senator.
I agree. This one's a lot tighter than it was a month ago. She was up by 6 points. I would have said she was going to maintain that. Now the lead is looking like it's closer than 1. So I'm going to add a little prediction to this. I actually think maybe Collins will win on the first ballot and Sara will win after ranked choice voting. So in the end, Sara Gideon will unseat Susan Collins, but it will be thanks to ranked choice voting. That'll put us in court for a few years, huh?
Yes.
I'm going to need some sleep. We can't have that happen. Really can't. Okay. Number 4, agree or disagree? Lisa Savage and Maxlin will combine for more than 8% of the vote on the first ballot.
I agree. I actually think they will get above 8%. I know most of the polling has them like around 6 or 7, but I think actually in the end, Maine likes third-party candidates. And especially with ranked choice voting, it's not a throwaway of your vote. So I think they will combine to go above 8%.
I disagree. I think there is such importance to this election that people realize that the two candidates are not viable. I don't see them getting to 8%. Instead, I see people voting for either Gideon or Collins.
All right. Number 5, agree or disagree? Dale Crafts will lose to Jared Golden by more than 15%.
Heartbreakingly, I have to agree with this. I think Dale has done the best that he could with the resources that he had, but he never really busted out into the public in a way in which everybody at least knew his name. And Jared Golden has not displayed any reason why he should be voted out of office.
Yeah, I'm going to actually agree with you on this one, too. I do think he'll win by more than 15. I mean, that's a pretty steep margin. He's got to get to 57, 58%, of course, to hit that. But I think he will. Most of the polling hasn't even shown Dale outside of the 30s. And, you're right. He just really never lit a spark. I'm not sure what he was thinking in terms of the race. He probably would have had a better shot with one of the other candidates, but it's going to be such a blue year. Jared's done such a good job. Tough to imagine anybody could have beaten him.
All right, number 6, agree or disagree? Chellie Pingree will win by more than 20%.
So this is a tough one. Look, Chellie has only won by more than 20% once, I believe, maybe twice. And that's in 6 or 7 elections. But I say agree. I think this year her opponent has not done very well. Plus, with the big Democratic turnout in the southern part of the state, I think she will actually get right over that mark of 60%.
That's a tough hurdle to overcome. I'm going to disagree. I think that there'll be enough Republicans who are going to come out and vote in the 1st Congressional District. They will vote for the Republican candidate. As you know, Ethan, winning 60%, winning by 20% of the vote that's a tough hurdle to overcome.
All right, number 7, agree or disagree, the U.S. Senate will remain in Republican hands.
I agree with this. I can also see a scenario if you add up all of the races around the country. Look, the Republicans have to defend 24 U.S. Senate seats around the country. The Democrats only have to maintain the 12 that they already have. I can see 1 or 2 of those seats flipping. It's even possible that the U.S. Senate could end up in a 50-50 tie. Unlikely, though. I'd say the Republicans maintain control.
Yeah, well, the 50-50 tie, that'll mean that it's either whoever wins the White House breaks
Right.
that. Whew. I actually think this one is going to go Democratic. When you look at some of these seats, you're right. I think if, Collins is going to be very consequential. Assuming Collins loses, Mark Kelly's going to win out in Arizona. Good shot that Tillis is going to go down in North Carolina. Lindsey Graham might lose. Even Montana, of all places, is in play. So while, yes, we could lose some Democratic ones, there are way more Republican seats that are tight than there should be. So I think the U.S. Senate's going to go Democratic, and actually going to go Democratic like 52-48, somewhere around there.
Really? Oh,
yeah. Feeling good.
Yeah,
I wore the blue tie, baby.
Yeah.
Kind of blue.
All right, number 8, agree or disagree, Democrats in the Maine legislature will expand their majority.
I think they will, actually. Very strong majority, 86 seats in the House right now and 21 seats in the Senate right now. So, you put that all together, what do they got? About 117 seats, somewhere in there. 107 seats, 107 seats all total. I do think overall they will expand their majority. I actually think they'll do it in both bodies, but yeah, I think they'll expand their majority.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on this. The Republicans left 24 legislative seats uncontested, so those are automatically going to go to the Democrats. So I'm unfortunately going to agree they're probably going to pick up seats in the House. In the Senate, I would be surprised if they pick up any.
All right, number 9, agree or disagree, more than 3 of the 6 Portland referenda will pass.
Sorry to say this, Mayor Strimling, but I think you're going to be lucky if 2 of them passes. I can see the facial recognition passing and the short-term rental referendum question passing, but not the other 3.
Well, remember, and the question here is all 6, because there's also the marijuana one. I think the marijuana one actually is kind of the easiest one to pass. Facial surveillance, I think, will pass as well. So that's 2 easy in the bank out of 6. I think the others will be tight, but I do think we'll get over 3. I think it'll be somewhere between 4. I could imagine all of them. Of course, I could imagine all of them. But I think that we will get more than 3 that will pass in the city of Portland. With this kind of Democratic turnout, I think we're on.
All right, boys, the last one. Agree or disagree, by November 5th, neither Donald Trump nor Joe Biden will have conceded the election.
Well, this one's easy for me because Joe Biden's not going to lose. So he'd concede if he did lose, but he's not gonna. But Donald Trump, of course, Donald Trump is not going to concede this election until it'll be January 24th before the guy even begins to accept the fact that he's no longer living in the White House. It'll be 3 days in Mar-a-Lago walking around saying what happened. So not a chance Donald Trump concedes this thing by November 5th.
I disagree. I think we're going to know the outcome of the election in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, Florida, Arizona. Those will be the telltale states that will determine the outcome, and I think that will be done before November 5th, particularly because as you have heralded over these last few weeks, Ethan, the number of people who have mailed in ballots or absentee ballots, those are going to be counted much more quickly than if people had showed up on election night and we had to wait for the polls to close. So I think we'll know before the 5th.
The issue is not whether you and I will know before the 5th. It's will Donald Trump know before the 5th.
He will. And so will Joe.
Yeah. Okay. All right, my friend. That's it. Our top 10 predictions for 2020. That was very fun, exciting. Well, best part about that is afterwards when we both get to eat a little crow and puff up our chests a little bit. We always love that. All right.
Yeah. Right. All right. Before we close the segment, we still have to grade how we did last week. As you know, I entered the last show up 18 to 16 in predictions. Schoolsy put us both on the hot seat. So let's see how we did. Number one.
Yep. Jive in.
Agree or disagree? The final presidential debate. In the final presidential debate, President Trump will interrupt Biden less than 15 times. Phil said agree. Strim said disagree. Schoolsy, how did we do?
No, you got to do. So how did Phil do?
How did Phil
and then
do?
that'll know. Then we'll know whether I won.
All right.
Now, let me just say on this one that I kind of think he probably interrupted pretty close to. He certainly interrupted the moderator 15 times, but the question was clear, and so in the end, I understand why Schoolsy had to give this one to you and not to me. But he definitely behaved better. Was he presidential the way you wanted?
He was much better. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
All right. Number 2. All right. Agree or disagree? In the final presidential debate, Biden will once again call the president a clown or something equivalent. Phil and Ethan both said agree. Schoolsy, how did we both do on this one?
Number 3 was agree or disagree. Within 1 week, the national margin between Biden and Trump will shrink to below 8 points on average. Phil said agree and Strim said disagree. Schoolsy, how'd I do?
Failed it.
Yeah.
Depends on which poll you looked at.
No, we looked at the average of all polls. I know. It never got below 9, buddy. All right. Agree or disagree? By next week, we will cross the 400,000 mark for early votes. Phil and Ethan both said agree. Schoolsy, how did we do?
Number 5.
417 as of yesterday.
And climbing.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree? Pelosi and the White House will finally come to an agreement on a stimulus package. Phil and Ethan both said agree. Schoolsy, we already know.
Failed it.
Thank you.
He said that like both of us have gotten this one wrong all year. Too much faith sometimes. Finally, agree or disagree? In Portland, those opposing the 5 referenda will report spending or having raised over $500,000 in total. Phil said disagree. Strim said agree. Schoolsy, how did Phil do?
Failed it.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't see this. I didn't see this one coming. $500,000.
Way more. They're up to getting closer to $1 million before they're all said and done, man.
Wow, it's too much money. You are making it a late inning comeback, my friend. I got 3 right. You got 4. That puts our season total as you at 20 correct to my 21.
Woo, man! Next week it's all going to come down to that. I think it's pretty much if it's all about whether Biden or Trump wins. I think, huh?
Yep.
Here we go.
The clock has run out. The buzzer is sounding.
Okay, Ethan, as we do each week in honor of Maine's bicentennial, we answer and ask a Maine political trivia question. Here is last week's question.
You taking it?
No, you are. You're the one.
Oh, got it. Good. Susan Collins. All right, here was last week's question. Susan Collins, if reelected, will become the longest serving woman senator from Maine. Who was the longest serving United States senator of any gender from Maine? So there were 2 that were elected 5 times.
Wow.
But one beat the other out by 6 months simply because he was filling out the term of James Blaine when he started. And interestingly, both were serving at exactly the same time, starting only 2 weeks apart from each other.
Wow.
Eugene Hale and William P. Fry. All right, Phil. It's down to 2. What's your guess on who got the extra 6 months?
Well, since I served with them Just kidding.
Yes.
I'll say William Fry served 6 more months.
You got it, buddy. Yep. William Fry, longest serving U.S. Senator. You said you knew this one all the way last week, so you know your Maine history pretty well. It's very interesting. I didn't know a lot of that history, but they kept going. Fry died in office, and Eugene Hale seemed to leave for some reason. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so some good stuff, some interesting factor. And you know what? James Blaine was not a governor of Maine, I don't think. I thought he was, but they named the Blaine House after him. Or was he?
That was his house that his family donated to the state.
Oh,
As
that's
the official residence of the governor.
Even though he was never governor.
I believe that to be correct. Yes.
All right. Nice. You've had a few cocktails in that building, haven't you?
I have back in the day.
Back when the governor, back when the governor needed your vote.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I also I represented Brunswick, which was the primary resident of Governor King. Yes. So he would often invite me to the Blaine House for lunch to make sure his senator was voting the proper way. You know what I mean?
Did you feel a little twist in your arm there sometimes with that drink?
While. Yeah, once in a while.
All right, here we go. Another our final trivia question of the election season. In honor of this Tuesday's election, how many times has Maine voted for the Democrat for president, and how many for the Republican since the year Phil was born? So first they got to figure out what year you were born, and then they got to figure out how many times it voted Democrat, how many times it voted Republican. Be interesting to know in your lifetime have we elected more Democrats or more Republicans?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. Love it.
Yeah. All right. You got any idea in your head? What do you got to like?
No, I got to think about it. That's a good question.
Yeah. All right. Good. You trying to remember what year you were born, or are you trying to figure out? Come on, that's not fair.
That's a wrap, folks. So, okay, Donald, tell us one more time how we did.
And you're fake news. You are fake news.
Nice.
See you next week.
All right. Have a great one. Make sure you vote, folks.